everybody, how's it going? This is Babylon 5. This is season 5. This is episode number 13. This episode is called The Core is Mother, The Core is Father. So this one is probably maybe the fallout regarding everything that happened on the station with Byron and the telepaths that were then allowed to leave. I can't see that sitting well with Bester whatsoever, because we've seen in the past with Bester, he's promised things. He's been like, I'll help you because you will keeping Carolyn safe. But then you always have at the back of your mind, well, what is Bester actually up to? Because there's no way in hell that I trust anything that guy says or does. So knowing that this is very Psycho-esque in the title makes me think that we're probably going to see a lot of Bester, or maybe even some of the telepaths that may have even stayed on the station after Byron died. So there's that possibility. And then we've got the whole revelation for Jakar, Michael, John, Delenn, realising because Michael found that button after he'd been to the Drazi homeworld that the Centauri are definitely involved in what's happening with all of the trade ships, and they now know who's been at least destroying them, but they don't know the reason why yet. And we know that there are shadow allies still on Centauri Prime, which means they're probably shadow allies on other worlds that we're not yet aware of. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one, whether or not they bring anything up to Londo at all, because they were kind of being quite vague last episode and saying, well, in future we can't really invite him like to the meetings and things. We're going to have to do things quite hush hush. So if Londo twigs because of that, this might not end well, because we've seen that future flash forward of Londo as Emperor and the state of the city outside the palace. So I'm going to get on into this. Let's go.
I've been following the situation on Babylon 5 as best I could for a while now.
As best
really
he could.
An unfriendly place for it.
Because everything was like
That's why
isolated, wasn't it? So
just isn't worth it, except on an emergency basis.
But I thought Babylon 5 was your main assignment these days.
Though I'm sure they think so.
his main interest is
They have a
there, I
tendency
guess,
to put their station at the center of the universe.
because of Carolyn.
Much as it might offend their sense of perspective, not everything is about Babylon 5.
Yes, it is.
You can't hold me. You can't hide from me too long. You can't hide. I told you it was my mind. I told you it was my mind. You listen. You listen here. I told you.
Oh no,
You
is
don't
this
listen.
guy
You don't hear me. I
okay?
keep telling you the same thing.
I don't think he's okay.
My mind. My mind. My mind. My mind. Not yours.
Was that the thing from Third Space? The tentacle thing?
That's terrible. How can they stand it?
By constant exposure and repetition, you get used to it. I think you'll find this interesting.
Is it a film?
Hi, my name's Gordon. You may not think it to look at me, but 6 months ago, I was a blip. I was hungry, tired, scared.
A blip.
And I looked like this. Pretty scary, huh? Did you know that 42.5% of all telepaths who leave the core commit suicide within 9 months? It's true. Without the support of other telepaths, thrown into a world of mundanes,
End program.
Shit myself then.
There's a bit of problem.
There's someone's dead. Yeah. Quite brutal, isn't it?
Who found him?
They were going to dinner before attending the concert tonight.
Were they paired off? Because we know Bester
Cause of
was.
death.
We know
Blunt
Talia
force
was.
trauma.
Any idea yet what caused them to go off?
A negative. We do know he doesn't have much money, so that limits his options. He apparently used most of it to purchase a ticket for a commercial transport bound for Babylon 5. On the other hand, that may be an attempt to throw us off the track.
No, I
Just
think
to
he
be on
did
the
go
safe side,
there.
Al, you and your team will proceed to Babylon 5. With luck, he'll get stuck there for a while until he can raise enough money to get a ticket elsewhere. I didn't want to say anything in front of the others. This whole situation is problematic enough as it is. But the suspect was also being trained in attack probes.
I
He's
read
a
that.
nut
It came up on his
disrupting
thing.
other telepaths. He's a mind shredder, Al. Let him get too close,
It looked like that
Let him
guy's
get a clear
face had
shot.
been shredded.
and he'll rip you in two.
What is he doing? Oh my god, who are we going to see in the mirror?
Why? Why'd you do it?
Because I could.
You in?
Me? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like,
I never played this game before.
you can't just sit there.
Can you tell me the rules?
Oh no, okay.
Well, it's been a real pleasure doing business with you. Guess it wasn't quite as hard as I'd heard.
Oh, he's got to get beat up or something, isn't he? Like that guy who sat down. I'm a bit It's nice to see the casino again, though, because we haven't seen it for so long.
Never go away. Haven't you caused enough trouble for one lifetime?
It's a pleasure to see you too, Mr. Allen.
So what is it this time, Mr. Bester? Hunting down freedom fighters? Pulling wings off flies? Annexing the Sudetenland?
A
Tracking a
murderer.
murderer.
Murderer, huh? Who'd he kill?
Another psychop.
And this is bad because...
Sack.
I don't know how you cheated back there. All I know is that you did. Now you're gonna give me my money back. All of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I said I want my money back.
Maybe he didn't cheat. Maybe he was just really good.
You don't want to get him upset. You're gonna get him upset. You're gonna get him upset.
Oh no.
You shouldn't do that.
What the hell are you doing?
He's gonna die.
Use this to get into the girls' wing back to the academy.
You heard what he said.
He said don't take him down. I'm not. If we can get him while he's still asleep or unguarded, we'll have the benefit of surprise. We can get...
This is like going against everything Bester just said as well,
You're
though.
disobeying instructions.
I'm showing initiative.
He won't be in there. Is it? Oh, another dead person.
Where was the stolen identicard being used?
In the casino. Apparently he did very well for himself at the blackjack table.
Under Psy-Core rules, telepaths aren't allowed to gamble.
Well,
So when they do gamble, they're not very good at it. I mean, it takes a lot more than scanning. You have to know what you're doing. So why would he be able to win?
Unless he suddenly acquired a skill for cheating.
from the guy he
Harris
killed?
must have ripped it out of his mind just before killing him. That's why he chose this victim. He's acquiring whatever skills he thinks will help him raise money fast.
Temporary residence, Red 3, Unit 7, Bester, Al.
Stand by.
Kid.
Well, there weren't any witnesses to what happened, at least none that have come forward.
I'd like to know why this
One
other
thing
guys
to
got
go on,
involved,
it's not
though.
much.
Because they would know
Just before he died, tried to call you.
that the
Didn't get very
circumstances
far.
of
Tapped
how
on
they
the
died are
story to
different.
Record his message, then put it on pause when he didn't finish. Freeze. Back it up frame by frame. Stop. That's your perp.
Oh.
Trying to ID that tattoo right now.
That's not Harris. Where are you running from?
I don't know.
This is the last video record they had. It's an off-hours training session between Harris and his roommate.
And he killed him.
Play.
Maybe
Trust
there was
the
some way
car.
we could record thought patterns. We know what was going on.
John, are you okay? What was that? If I've done anything to upset you.
He said, let it go!
He said, let it go.
Yeah.
I
Personalities.
said. He said.
What? What is it?
These papers. Different styles of handwriting, different names, but not different people. The same person.
Uh-huh.
We know about your situation. We know what your roommate discovered. It's okay. We can help you, but you have to trust us.
Locking
Let us
someone
take you
away
back
is
with
not
us.
helping
No!
them.
I won't go back! Take them down! Harris, back me up! Harris!
Did he get shot in the
I
wrist?
didn't do anything. The Dark Man and the Laughing Man.
Oh.
And me and Harris. We're all in this together.
Is the shuttle fueled up?
She's ready to go.
What about the prisoners?
With a little nudge from back home, security has agreed to recognize our authority and turn them both over to our custody. Frankly, I think Mr. Allen will be just as happy to let them go, since that means we'll be out of here ASAP. He doesn't like our kind.
ETA with the mothership?
6 hours, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a long haul.
Have a nap.
And we still have the mundane to deal with.
Go on.
Jesus.
You're first?
My first.
Well, you made it past the first stage. You just might be psycho material after all.
This was like a huge surprise. I never expected we'd get something like this. I genuinely thought it would be Bester going to the station to try and figure out kind of what the next steps were in regards to everything that had happened with Byron, because he was still under that, I think it was 60-day agreement with Lockley. So I thought it'd be in relation to that. But to have an episode that kind of gave you more insight into Psychor, going to Psychor was amazing. All of those posters on the wall were just like, Jesus, this place is mad. It just looked like a massive testing center. And Harris was saying he was in like a testing center where he was opposite another trainee, and he had, bless him, like multiple personality disorder. And obviously during one of his training sessions, one of those personalities made themselves known. And to know that Psychor deal with people that have an issue like that, and they basically just shut them away, and it doesn't sound like they try and help them in any way. They probably view shutting them away from everybody else as helping. Is horrible to think that that's how, they may treat someone that has a mental illness. And him having these two helpers in this who he was mentoring, I had a feeling as soon as the guy was breaking into the quarters, I was like, this guy's not going to make it, because he wasn't listening to what Bester was saying. And then to see that he did get stabbed, I was like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming for that guy, because he was a little bit more impulsive, and he kind of went against a lot of what the Psychor people were telling him. So it was interesting to see that, but to see this Harris like trying to get as much money as he could so that he could kind of get away, because he basically knew Psychor would just shut him away, was actually quite sad. And one of his personalities had murdered people to kind of keep all of them safe, all of the personalities safe. And seeing that he ended up with this guy who was a gambler, and they ended up working together, I found it interesting that Psychor were allowed to take him with Harris. That surprised me a lot, because I thought maybe he would have been under the jurisdiction of Zach in the station, and he would have, faced a judge like we've seen in the past on the station. But to see that he went with the Psychor was interesting. But then to see that lady just ejected him into hyperspace, I was like, did not expect that. One of the things that stood out a lot to me during this was the amount of talk about like Psychor against the mundanes, telepaths against telepaths. And I was like, yeah, they're slowly building up more and more about this upcoming war, and it's been happening through most of the season. And to see that we had like that entire 12 episode basically of Byron's story, what was happening, to then go into this to get the viewpoint of Psychor rather than the viewpoint of the guys on the station, I really liked that. And there was just something I found very clever about seeing this side, and seeing Bester in kind of more casual setting was quite unnerving, because we've never seen that before. Seeing him be able to do that technique on the mirror, loved that. Like, that's just kind of made me think of when Talia used to look in the mirror quite a lot. Like, what was Talia seeing when she was looking in the mirror? And then I kept thinking to myself, is Harris kind of like a situation of like Ironheart, and he's been tested and something's happened? Or is it kind of more of a situation like Talia, where they've implanted personalities in him, and his have came out in the training, whereas Talia's was like password protected, basically. But it wasn't. He was just suffering from MPD. So to know that it wasn't a Psychor thing, but they obviously see it as like an imperfection, was really interesting. To see where we're going to go from this point on, I'm assuming we're maybe, because we didn't get any this episode, we might focus more on the fallout for Centauri Prime here on in. So it's going to be an interesting one. I may go watch the next one, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.